Hello everyone, in this video let us write a simple script to rename a project in Jira. So for renaming a project in Jira, you can use the project manager, and the method that I'm going to use is update project. Now if you look at this method, you need to pass in some parameters, which is in this case update project parameters, and if you click on it, you can know more about what parameters you need to pass. So this is the parameter that we have to, of course, mention the project name that we are trying to change, and the code that you need to write for renaming a project is not very complicated. If you are trying to, let us say, rename just one project, you first need to use, of course, the project manager. That is something that you need to use, and once you have the project manager, you need to first, of course, identify the project that you need to rename, and you can do that by fetching the uh, project object using a method called as a get project object name, where you can pass in your project name, which is in this case Scrum. So what I will be doing in my example, I have a project called Scrum new. So we will use this method. This this is basically my project name that I need to rename to something else, and I will be using this method called update project, where I need to pass in my update project parameters, where I can specify my new project name. So my new project name could be this one, Scrum, or maybe renamed project. So let us see if this works. Renamed project. And if I use a simple log statement to basically have some logging, so I know whether this script ran or reached this point. So I can now go back to my Jira instance, and I'm going to basically do this or execute this on my console. And I'm using my file, which is stored on the server or my local environment. But I can also use the script, which I can copy and paste in the console. Now, if I run this, let us see if this works or not. So it will hopefully execute. So right now there is no return statement. I can also have something displayed here on the log, but I can take a look at my log. It says project renamed. And if I look at my project on top now, it says renamed project. So it's a very simple example, and uh, basically using this method, using this script, a simple script, you can rename a project in cases where maybe you want to do it in bulk. So you can maybe write your own function, your own method with this particular piece of code in place, add some logging or maybe add some error handling to make sure that the project that you're trying to rename is valid, or maybe you cannot rename a project for some reason. For example, if I run this script again, let us see what happens. So if I run this script again, you can see here that it says cannot get ID on null object. And the reason is that right now there is no project with the name Scrum new, because we have renamed it. So when you're trying to fetch the ID uh, and you're trying to do something with this, you need to catch, or you need to basically do some error handling. So right now my project is null, and because my project is null, this project.id will not work. So what I can do here, I can what I can do here is I can add some condition. If a project is not null, then do this. I can then copy this, and I will add here else log.debug project uh, does does not exist, and we can go back to the Jira instance, and if we try to run this now, let us see what happens. It will still give us some error, because if you look at the log, it says project does not exist, but my project manager dot update project is still trying to rename the project. So I'll copy this particular piece of code and I will include it here. Basically, under my, I mean, only do this renaming when the project uh, is valid or not null. So if we go back to the instance and if we try to run this, it will give us this error, project doesn't exist. And now I can maybe change it to renamed project, and trying again. So this is my new name, and if I now try to run it, let us see what happens. So now it says project renamed. If I take a look at my new project name, it is trying again. So I hope you get the idea, and it's of course a very simple example to rename a project, but you can always use this particular simple piece of code and maybe do bulk renaming. So this is all I wanted to share in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much.